Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to Real Talk with Sukh and Preet. Today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Annette Tompkins. Annette is a passionate patriot who comes from a military background, raised on the border of China and familiar with communism. Annette loves America fiercely. Annette is involved in the patriot political scene. She has helped establish Freedom Riders 1776, a group of patriots spreading hope throughout the Sacramento region and now the state of California. Freedom Rider has worked all year to connect all the patriot groups in California. We the People CA was born out of Freedom Riders 1776. Annette works in the charter school system to not only give back to the homeschool world, but to influence the next generation of young patriots. Annette is adored by our whole family, especially our son, who is 15 years old, because we also had to make a hard decision to pull him out of public school system when we noticed all the LGBTQ agendas and the CRT being pushed into school. So, Annette, welcome to Real Talk with Sukh and Preet.
Thank you. It is so exciting to be here with you guys, and it is such an honor to hear you read the bio and then to hear your story of how you brought a cough out of the school system and into the home system to educate him. And then I met you here in my realm. It's such a joy to have our paths cross like this. So thank you.
Yes, definitely. That's how we feel too.
Yeah.
It's like, God brings everyone together and, us like, running into you and you being in our life now. It's huge. And we're really happy that our teenage son, has someone like you to look up to.
He is definitely the next up and coming generation of patriots that will carry on the baton for us, and it is a joy to watch him grow under your tutelage of both you and Sukh as well too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For this.
So
yeah, let's go.
let's go. Let's dive in.
I know. Let's dive right in.
So, first of all, a little bit backstory about Freedom Riders, because it is kind of such a passion of mine. A very interesting story that comes from this is that it is very true that being out in the community, we really do see the hurting. That's one reason why we got back together in 2022, as a group of 12, and we decided that we need to throw this out into social media and start joining, calling out the Patriots again. Well, come to find out, all of us had been running together in 2020. But many of us have had run-ins already with the opposition. Mainly, it was by the name of BLM or Antifa, who Biden said was just an idea. Well, I can tell you they're not just an idea, because my car was actually, the tires were slashed, paint was thrown into it, windows were bashed, because I was down in the Capitol for a freedom rally, and Antifa did come through that area that day and created quite a bit of destruction. So that was what was the turning point for me, and I just said, that's it, I am all in. And I just had this growing passion in me. I had to do something. I had to find my group, and so kept pushing and pushing for that, and just seeing where God would lead. And lo and behold, I found my tribe, and Freedom Riders was born from that. And it's been pretty incredible seeing the Patriots
beautiful.
come out.
The background, how this came about. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that now we're morphing into We the People California, because we have become so large. Now we're finding out it is a loud majority. It's not a silent majority. And it is a red majority in California as well too. So we'll continue on with our work. We might have to reframe it, but we're not standing down and we're not quitting. We will keep going forward.
No, we're not. All I can think is, we have New Scum, and he's not doing anything for California. He's destroyed it. Like California, majority of the people I know that I see interact with, the Republicans.
I can tell you that much. Pretty much anybody or everybody I talk to, it's same thing, same results. Okay, so what's going on is that we live in the state where it's a beautiful state, and we love it. We love the weather. We love the state. But issue is the people who are running this state.
Mhm.
Like you said, Gavin Newsom and everybody else, they're driving the state down to the ground. Um, and if there is anything can go on, it goes on in this state, from the laws to the voting rights, to you name it. It's like if there is something new going to come in this world, it starts with California, and
Mhm.
most of them is not positive. It's negative stuff. For example, we receive mail-in ballots, and I saw RFK Jr.'s name on that when it's he already dropped out. So that tells you a lot right there. And then, of
Mhm.
course, there's no voter ID, which uh, Gavin Newsom passed this law that they don't have to have the voter ID. It's just shame. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of stuff goes behind doors. I'm pretty sure Annette can touch on that too. Um, and there's a lot of fraud goes on, and that's how. I mean, I can tell you that much from when we all voted for Newsom to be recalled. He was not recalled. That tells you a lot right there. There was like a lot,
Yeah.
lot of cheating. There was a lot of
Mhm.
they did whatever they could with their money and big social media companies.
Yes, because I actually did work in the first recall, or sorry, it would be the second. The first recall, they nixed it, said we didn't have enough signatures. And then the second recall, um, I worked that, and I was hearing stories of signatures that were being thrown away, that were being, you know, discredited for whatever reasons there were. So just even in the recall process itself, there was so much fraud.
Hmm.
Um, Lying there. And then when we had the special election to vote him out, there were ballots that I heard, because I was working close with those that were guarding the ballots carefully and seeing where they were going. And, ballots that were just being stuffed under desks in postal offices and not
Yeah.
being delivered. It's really sick. Our state is definitely the
Yeah.
model child for voter fraud, if you want to call it that, because California is seeped deep in it for sure. But we have a lot of underground work that's happening that's very, very good. The Election Integrity Project is doing a very, very good work in California, and have actually won a couple of lawsuits already. So it's little baby steps that we're going to keep proceeding forward, because what happens in California ripples out really across the rest of the nation. And we can, maybe 20 years from now, we'll be able to turn this state around, but we don't give up and we don't quit. It's
Yeah,
going to
we
follow us wherever we go.
yeah we're definitely not going to give up.
Yeah.
And just like a lot of hundreds, thousands of people running out of the state, we're not going to run out of the state.
No.
We're gonna stand up and fight.
Yep. Just like President Trump got shot and said, fight, fight,
Fight, fight,
fight.
fight, fight.
He's a
Right?
God's man. He knows what he's saying.
The best example that we have is our leader in front of us. And that's what a leader should do, model to his people of how to do this, because then we stand up. He said with his first inauguration speech, the power belongs to the people. And he
Yeah.
keeps telling us that, we the people. So yes, it's up to us. We have the right to abolish the government, and that's what we're working on.
Yeah,
And RFK Jr., I remember when we were down at the Capitol during 2010, he was a big voice for abolishing, going down the direction of what we're doing with our children with vaccinating them. And in 2010, they were passing SB 277 that required vaccines for children to enter school.
Yeah.
And it should always be a parental choice. It was really fascinating at that point to listen to the speeches that he was giving on the Capitol steps, because he, coming from opposing sides, I guess you want to call it, opposing parties, with him being a moderate Democrat and then myself being a constitutional Republic. I thought, how can we even find a meeting of the minds here? It seems like we're so opposite. But it's just so fantastic seeing President Trump bring him in on his preemptive team, knowing where he's been standing since, even on the whole vaccine issue, deeply educated, so much so that he is hated very much so by those that run in his party, because it's a money-making machine. And they understand that once he gets into the Trump administration and he does MAHA, make America healthy again, he's going to blow it up. He's
Yeah.
going to blow up everything that's involved in big pharma, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be happy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And it's like the, I believe, I truly believe, and of course that's just my opinion, that there are two biggest scam in the world. One is a tax, and two is the
Mhm.
way the whole medical system works. Um, and I'm just glad that he is part of the uh, Trump team, and he's gonna make difference. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and it's great to hear that you have a history with him. That's so awesome, and you're here talking to us about it. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Because I think a lot of people might discredit him because he is a moderate Democrat and think, well, how could we even find a common ground? But the common ground is who we have coming behind us, and that's our children. And with the deep research that RFK Jr. has done on the whole vaccine industry, and
Mhm.
he's written books about it and has helped to promote the movies that came out afterward. Vaxxed was a movie that came out afterwards with the vaccine injured that are happening. Um, he will be a huge voice, one of the loudest voices that we have ever had, I think, because the parental voice has been silenced. In
Yeah. Yeah.
2010, when we went down there were over 15,000 that showed up at the Capitol, and we all went in front of each committee and we voiced our stance on whether we supported the bill or whether we didn't. And it was shocking even at that time, because we stood up in front of Senator Pan. He was one of the authors of the bill. And we watched the lobbyists slip notes to him that we knew they were giving him information concerning how they wanted him to continue to bully us and push us down the road. It was shocking because even at that time, that's when I saw that the government does not care about us. And as we should not ever think that, we need to be independent minded. But, I was able to see how RFK Jr. was speaking out at that time, and how the left was so against him. And I thought, how could you be against your own? You're literally eating your own. And now
Yeah.
he's continued down that path. And then President Trump very wisely just allowed him, RFK Jr., to come to his own conclusion. And RFK Jr. Came over and joined forces with us. So I think that was one of the most remarkable times in our history right now, to see both parties united on a front that we can agree on, and that is the health of our children and the protection of our future for them.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then that's the way it should be. It's not about just like one party. Um, it's a matter of right and wrong, and what are we laying for our future, and our children's future and their children's future. And I'm just glad that we do have people who stand up and who are thinking about it, because it seems like a lot of people who are in the power, they just have eyes and ears closed, and they really don't care about any of these issues. And I'm just glad that that we do have we do have a leader who's running for be a president of this country, and he's going to make a difference. And I'm excited, uh, looking forward to it, and then at the same time humbly praying every single day for his safety and his whole team's safety too. Um, so go ahead, breathe. let's continue with that, and let's, because the elections are the most important thing,
Yeah.
and it's like right is we're pretty much knocking on the door. Let's already has started. Um, Now we need to do is like let's put out some thoughts out there that why we want to make sure that President Trump get reelected. Um,
So one of the things is Kamala is already, she's the vice president, right? For the last 3 years, 3.5 years, our country has gone into destruction. So people that are even considering or have voted for or voting for Kamala, like, what's the reason? Why do you think Kamala Harris should not be promoted to a president? And that's pretty much what it is. She's a vice president right now, and she's going to be promoted to president if, things go the way that we don't want.
Go ahead, Annette.
Well, if I were to play the devil's advocate and try to think from a Democrat or a liberal mindset of why would I not want her there, just
Yeah.
purely what I can see on the news, they have touched a bit on the illegal immigration, if you want to call it that, the illegal invasion. I'll use those words. I like those better. The illegal invasion that's happening of our country. It's not invasion.
Yeah.
The illegal invasion that's happening across our border, both from Canada and
Yeah.
into on the Texas and the Mexico borders as well too, California
Right.
border. And there is enough evidence with the destruction that's happening with the Venezuela gangs and whatnot to
Mhm.
know that there's something that's happened very has gone severely south with this administration that we did not have before. We haven't had Venezuela gangs pouring into our country.
Yeah.
So if I were to pick one thing, there's multiple things that I could say and talk about with Kamala, but that would be the main thing
Yeah.
because this is my country. I came
Mhm.
from a foreign country. I lived and, was raised on the border of China. So, I had respect for that country. These people coming into our country have no respect. They're getting everything for free.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
it's our money. It's,
it
it's
is
free
our
for them.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our hard work money. We pay
Yes.
the taxes. We the people pay the taxes, and it's going to illegal aliens, or the term you used was better.
Mm.
Well,
Yes.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was just going to say too, that she gave 700, quote unquote, $750, which is actually a loan to
Yeah.
North Carolina citizens, citizens of the United States who have been paying taxes and lost their homes and lost
Yeah.
their families. And she gave $5,000 to every illegal that crosses the border.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And these are like facts. This is out there.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And how bad is that? That the U.S. citizens who lost everything, they don't have nothing coming their way.
Right.
Even like that,
She even stopped help going there.
even they're like
Hmm.
so-called $750, they had to apply for it. And how do
Hmm.
you apply for that when you have nothing? And then top of that, when people did apply it, and there were people who were denied of those $750, but yet that brings out another issue: is like it's okay to give trillions of dollars to other countries to fight their war,
Hmm.
not a U.S. war, but their war. Um, but we have nothing coming our way. That would be the biggest thing for me. Is like we have nothing. Like as a like tax-paying citizens and law-abiding citizens, we have nothing as U.S. citizens coming our way. But yet, illegals get everything.
It
Um,
seems like every year it's hard and hard to, have a living, a decent living. Like inflation is going up, grocery prices, gas prices, taxes. Like, like I said in my previous podcast too, that the American people struggling, they're living on credit cards. And credit cards, another scam. Like that's another way of, getting people, the citizens, making them so uncomfortable, where they don't have, like, their checks are going to, just the necessities, and then everything else they have to use credit cards and survive on a credit card. So that's another, like, biggest scam going on, and I think a lot of people have got into debt, credit card debt, in this recent 3.5 years. Another thing I wanted to mention was recently in Kamala Harris's rally, she was comparing Trump to Adolf Hitler. A 94-year-old Holocaust survivor attacks Kamala Harris for comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. Jerry Worski, that's his name. He got on screen and has said that for her to accuse President Trump of being like Hitler is the worst thing he has heard in his 75 years living in the United States. He has stated that she owes my parents and everybody else murdered by Hitler an apology. I know President Trump, and he is nothing like Hitler. He stated that President Trump will be the best president to stop all wars. He is a man of God.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what they're scared of. They're scared that there will not be any wars, right? So if they're not pouring the money into other countries, they're not going to make a profit out of that. That's why they do not want President Trump. One of the reasons in the office, and they have just pretty much tried everything they could to stop him, but God willingly, uh, you know, truth is truth, and truth will always rise over all the false meant and all the lines, and we just got to continue to support, and we got to make sure that
continue to speak the truth. Yeah,
speak the truth, and we're doing the right thing, and we teach our kids and more generations to come to teach them the right thing to do.
Right. And our generation that is, or the generation that's behind us, needs to understand that there was a Holocaust
yeah,
and that it was generated by the hatred that a man had for the Jewish people, who are God's selected and chosen people from the beginning of time.
yep,
Because that is where the birth of Christ came through, was through the Jewish lineage.
uh-huh.
So there will always be the hatred for the Jews, and to see what they can do to annihilate them. So to make that comparison of calling Trump Hitler,
Yeah. It's like, what is the, what has he
mm-hmm,
done? When
mm-hmm,
he was in office, our economy was doing good.
mm-hmm.
People were happier. Now, like, last 3.5 years, like, it's like it's so scary what has happened, and
Yeah.
if this continues, and if we don't get Kamala and other people running her, out of there, the United States gonna go into um, the worst situation, and it's gonna be hard for them to get out.
It will be very difficult to get out, because if there has to be a superpower. If there is a superpower, then we notice that the world revolves much better.
Yeah,
And we've seen the absence of that. And we hear other nations are literally crying out for President Trump as well too, and cheering America on. Come on, we need President Trump so that
yeah,
we have order in our country once again. So there won't be that, and there will be chaos and lawlessness that ensues. And I saw much of that in Hong Kong, where I grew up, and yeah, it's not pretty.
no,
Americans that have lived here within comfort do not understand that we are just
yeah,
merely an iota away from that happening. We are already in soft communism. I mean, it's as if they are
yeah,
living out the Communist Manifesto as their constitution instead of the US Constitution,
hmm,
because we are definitely we are a modern day Animal Farm. If you read George Orwell's Animal Farm, but we are very much living that out in our society now, and
yeah,
many still have their head in the sand, but many thousands are waking up now,
yep.
and
And
it's
those that are
encouraging.
waking up, they've, like Tulsi Gabbard, just the other
Mm-hmm.
day, she switched party, and people in their right mind, and that's the step they need to take.
Yes.
and they have taken. So,
Yes. You know, an interesting story, and this is one reason why I love riding with freedom riders so much, because I run across all sorts of people. I was out in the parking lot one day, and big, huge American flag and Trump flag was hanging off of a Jeep that I was around. This man walks over and he says, "Thank you so much. I'm going to be voting for President Trump. Thank you for doing that." He was an elderly gentleman. And he
oh,
said, "I was Secret Service for Ronald Reagan."
oh wow,
And yes, and I used to I used to do Secret Service at Camp David. And he said, "I
yeah,
want you to know President Trump used to come and visit with Ronald Reagan, and he is such a nice man.
yeah,
As everything that he is now is what he was when I used to provide Secret Service for Ronald Reagan and then whoever was there at Camp David."
yeah,
And then when I had the privilege to be able to ride in the or drive in the motorcade, I had one of the gentlemen that was in my car is one of the on the administrative team, and he was so excited to be able to go on President Trump's airplane, on Trump
uh,
Force,
yeah,
um, and he was so excited to be able to go there for the first time. And he said, "Please, please, can you take a picture? I get to actually, go see President Trump and talk to him." And I thought, my goodness, you're his administrative staff. You
yeah,
must see him every single day. Well, then he came back and he said, and this was later on in the evening, and he said, "I am so excited. I got a personal note from President Trump. He left it in the seat because he left all of his snacks. So he was the snack guy. He made sure President Trump got his snacks in the limo
yeah.
that we were following. And he said, "President Trump left me a note and he said, thank you very much for what you're doing."
Wow, wow. Wow.
And he
I
said,
mean, check this, check it out. This busy guy, right?
yes,
Busy,
yes,
busy guy, but he's got that courtesy to like, just thank somebody and just stop.
yes,
Even heard like he calls his children, like when he's at rallies right now, like, he's like nonstop. He's all over. I think
mm-hmm,
he's in Texas right now.
mm-hmm,
He'll call his grandkids and check on them and, just talk to them. And this is right
yes,
before the rally. So, just think about it. This
mm,
guy he's amazing, and you know, we wouldn't be fighting so hard, and even probably doing this podcast, had the opposite, the other party been a little bit more humane and stuff. We just know the destruction they're going to cause to the United States of America, and they have
mm-hmm.
caused. So that's why it's like very important for us to come out and do this and speak and make a difference if we can. Um,
Well, and the fascination of all of it is that President Trump has given us this opportunity. He paved the way for us. He woke us up. And
yeah,
he showed us the power that we have as the people. And once we engage in that power, once our eyes are open, once you've been red pilled, you cannot be unred pilled. You cannot unknow what you know.
right.
And that's what President Trump has given to as a gift. It's a gift of life to the
Yeah,
American people
yeah,
because he pulled the curtain back for us and allowed us to see. And had God not put President Trump into office in 2016, we would not have been so aware
yeah,
of all of this in 2020. And President Trump has been anointed, he has been chosen. We don't know what God's plan is after November 5th, but we do know that God has chosen President Trump.
yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that he has
So, do
anointed
you want
him.
to add
So,
anything else?
Just you know, just like Annette said, just like my eyes got open when President Trump took over and became a president. I really didn't look into it too much till like he actually was president. Of course, I voted for him, um, but my eyes were wide open once he took off. So what I saw, all the accomplishments, the respect we had as Americans, um, which in the last 3.5, 4 years been destroyed, and everything we had, economy too, you name it, it was his doing. It was the 4 years he had. He made sure that he put this country first, people first, and he took care of that. And it was the best time. It was probably the best 4 years of our lives.
Yeah.
and we need those another 4 years of him coming in and setting everything straight and stop this nonsense and this chaos going on.
Yeah. I mean, the mess that the country is in right now, President Trump's job is not going to be easy, but he's the best candidate at this time to get us out of this mess. And
Yeah.
hopefully, people see this and they vote accordingly. And I really wish for United States to, you know, come out of this stronger, and then let Trump lead for the next 4 years, and we can be happy again and safe again, and
Yeah.
um,
And
and thrive again.
we definitely don't need a bunch of lawyers uh, who, as soon as they turn on, they lie about everything to be running this country.
Yeah.
Because that's the team we have right now. And with the camera, it's probably going to be the worst, because she really can't even answer a question like I said in the last podcast. If there was a like word salad and she has it, with extra dressing in there,
Yeah.
it just it's bad. It's so bad that like they can destroy this country for the last 3.5, 4 years, and it really gets me
Yeah.
is that then they can go in front of the mic and lie about everything.
Can you guys think about like any one positive thing that Kamala did in her vice presidency in the last 3.5 years?
I can tell you,
Like, is there anything, like, I can't think of anything that she's done in the last 3.5 years?
I can tell you this much. I have I have not followed her, but I have known about her for a long time. Even when she was Attorney General in California, and before that, she have not done anything in her lifetime. That's all I can tell you. If there was something she has done, she usually have like made things worse, and that's the bottom line with her.
I mean, I think a lot of people, like, they're kind of like, oh, women president, women president. Yes, we want a women president, but we want a proper woman president, not the one that was a cowgirl.
Right, and one that owned it, and one that
Yeah,
earned it.
exactly.
Yes, she earned it from ground up, not through special
Yeah.
favors.
Yeah,
Yes, that she went through the political avenues as anyone, like Kevin Kiley or any, Tom McClintock, any other politician that we have coming from out of California has represented themselves through the political system as they should,
yeah,
in earning it. But yeah, because that's a good question, Preet. I was thinking, well, what
yeah.
is there good that she has done? Maybe she wears, a pretty set of pearls.
Pearls
That's maybe about the only good
that
thing I
help
can
her,
say.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that help her.
yeah,
Because, and I'm not against women being in leadership at all, but with
yeah,
our country and the world in chaos like it is, there needs to be a leader that stands up with a stalwart strength that will not back down.
right.
And world leaders are afraid. Some of them are afraid of President Trump, and some have a fearful respect.
Yeah,
And
yep,
that's what we are to have. Our military is disrespected. We are a laughing stock of the world. We never used to be.
yeah,
And President Trump causes us to rise up. That inner patriot
yeah,
grassroots just comes screaming out of us.
uh-huh,
And we refuse to back down. And we refuse to let our weapons be taken, as Kamala will try to do.
exactly. Yep.
Um,
We love our
so
weapons, and there's
we
no way
love
we're
our
gonna give them
weapons.
up.
And she has made a statement um, before she became vice president, and she pretty much made the statement that yeah, like you have right to own a weapon, but she's like, we're not gonna just let you own the weapon. Even like in your household, we're gonna come down and check on you and check how you're storing the weapons. That's what she stands for.
Mhm.
I mean, that really
It's
sounds a
like
lot.
she's clueless. That this is something when you test to get your CCW or have a weapon. There's tests that you take, and how you're supposed to store the weapons and how you
Hmm.
keep it in a safe and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So it- her just kind of making that remark like that just kind of tells you that, hey, they're after our weapons. They don't want us to have weapons because they don't want citizens. They want to bring illegal people in and criminals in, and
Hmm.
then what are we supposed to do?
There's no way to defend yourself
Yeah,
because they don't want you to be armed.
Right.
I think the people forget their own history, and this country was built on citizens being armed, and that's
Hmm.
where we need to be. And we always got to have that, and that right never should be taken away from U.S. citizens.
yep,
Right. You're
mm,
absolutely right, because a citizen that rises up and is armed is a citizen that has the ability to not only protect themselves, but to fight and to protect their community around them, and then to keep pressing forward against what's evil.
Yeah,
right,
So,
absolutely.
yes, that was removed. That was something I saw in Hong Kong as a child. They removed the weapons, and you have to house them in a certain, it's called the Armory Club in Hong Kong now. You can still go shoot, but you have to house your gun there. Well, that didn't stop people from finding any kind of weapon that they could use if they wanted to break into someone's house or steal
yeah,
someone's wallet. They just used a knife or a rock. It doesn't stop the heart. The heart is bent on evil. So it doesn't stop the intent of the heart, the weapon. The person is the one that is bringing the injustice upon whatever they're intending to do. It is not the weapon itself.
Yeah,
right,
So
absolutely.
yeah, you're right. It is just, it's a movement to just taking a clear snatch of a sweep of removing weapons. Um, and I don't like to call them weapons because they're more of a tool for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's all there is.
But
They are tools.
yes, they're a tool. So yes, I do love the statement that was said in World War II. The Japanese said, "Watch out for the Americans because behind every blade of grass is an armed citizen."
Yeah,
nice,
And it's even more so now.
yeah,
So yeah, good luck, Kamala, trying to take that down.
yeah, not gonna
You're
happen.
gonna,
no, that'll
it's
never
not gonna
happen.
happen.
That'll
Not gonna
No.
never
happen.
happen. I mean, I don't like I said. People forget their own history. We have a history of having a civil war in this country,
Hmm.
and and the citizens will never give up on their arms here. And if we end up doing something like that, we will become China. We will
Yeah.
become India.
Yeah,
We will become like some third world country where you don't have any rights and you're targeted for just even speaking up, or having like getting five people together to even hold a meeting.
yeah,
You get targeted,
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
what goes on in countries like India,
Hmm.
where I was born, and we definitely don't need that. I mean, we came from India to U.S. to have a better life, and
and we've had a beautiful, better life, right?
yeah, this is a
But
beautiful country, beautiful laws, and it's
we
like,
love our country. It's just like,
Hmm.
and when I became a U.S. citizen, that was probably the most proudest thing in my life, that I was U.S. citizen, and from that day on, I always have in my heart that if it comes down to it, I will give up my life for U.S.
Hmm.
because that is our country, and that's what we fight for, and we will bleed for it. But
Hmm.
it comes down to the whole, like what goes on. If we don't speak up, we don't get out, we don't make awareness, we don't people don't really get up and wake up right now, we will be in deep, deep, deep
crap.
crap. Um,
Hmm.
I mean,
That's a mild word.
I was about to use some serious foul language, but
Yeah, but we're gonna keep it to crap.
but
No,
but
and seriously, that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. there's nothing more clear than that. We can use a fancy word, but this country is being turned into a dump, as we speak.
Bottom line is, and after this, we're gonna let our guest speak because it seems like we're talking too much. Uh,
It's good conversation.
uh, so, look, the bottom line is that we need change, and the change is Donald Trump, and he need to be the president of the U.S. And there's no other way, and we don't have any other choice. Uh, I can sit there and argue about it. If there was somebody else who was better and with more common sense, I would love to go for that, regardless of the parties or whatever. But Donald
And
Trump,
Trump, he's going to take care of, you can be Republican, you can be Democratic. He's going to take care of his people.
yeah,
He's going to
for
not going
sure.
to look at you like, hey,
And,
um,
Donald Trump, the the best thing for him is going, even like people like JD Vance and and RFK and Elon Musk. There's one thing they all have in common is common sense,
yep,
and they speak on common
that
sense.
is a magic word.
And that's what we need because we don't have that too much nowadays.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, Annette, do you want to say a few more words? And I think we should wrap it up now.
Well, I guess my few words would be vote Trump. Always,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But then also, I appreciate what you and Soup are doing because, too often we want to name call, we want to sling mud from both sides at each other.
Yeah.
And the fact is that, um, it helps us to understand that we need to present the truth with stalwartness, but with a love and with compassion, with the blind sheep that they just they are they are so brainwashed and they are just so lost in all of this because you never know when a seed is planted that
Mm-hmm.
will sprout a root. Um, again, one of the reasons why I love being in Freedom Riders is I get to talk to the people when they come to the rallies and they share their stories with me. And I've heard countless stories of Democrats who have walked away and they
Yeah.
said, this is not my party. This is not what I voted for. Now they may swing back over should a moderate Democrat
Yeah.
appear
Yeah.
in the ranks again. But and who knows, if their policies were something that I could support, well, then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
vote by policy. I don't vote for my Valentine. I
Yeah.
vote
Yeah.
by policy.
I would not stick,
Um,
I would not be in a wrong lane, if they, they were just, this was the way they were going.
right,
If their like whole talk and what they're doing to the country is opposite of what United States stand for
right,
and what we as a human stand for, then you shouldn't have a problem changing parties.
right,
And I told many of my friends too, once Democrats, if they get their acts together and Republicans, they start upsetting us or doing stuff they shouldn't be doing to the people, then I wouldn't have a problem switching.
right. Right. It's the left has become so immoral
Yeah.
and so bent on controlling the people. And just by human nature, we don't abide to that well.
No.
Especially the American citizen, we have something of a rebellious spirit, therefore we threw tea into the harbor.
Yeah.
We're willing to risk all of our tea because we were not going to be taxed.
No.
So, yeah, it's quite fascinating watching what's going on in our country, but we have to keep sharing the truth,
Yeah,
one
we
little
do.
seed at a time, and having patience with them as well too when they're screaming in our faces to return love and kindness. Because I appreciate that Trump kept saying and keeps saying, we are law and order, law and order. We
Yeah.
could call in the military and we could wipe out the left, no problem. Every
Yeah.
military person I have talked to has said, don't you worry, if we were ever asked to turn against a citizen, we will not do that. We will, even though we are sworn to protect both against domestic and foreign enemies,
Yeah. Yep.
we know what's going on and we cannot abide by this. So I do know that, the military could come in and they could get rid of everything. But I appreciate what Trump says, the powers to the people, and we do this by law and order. We show the left how this is to be done, even though they refuse to abide by it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Well, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Annette, we would like to thank you for coming on this show and not only we hear you all the time, but the rest of the world's gonna that listens to us, they're gonna hear you and what you have to say, and it was just beautiful. So we'd really like to thank you for doing this with us, and just for the rest of the people listening, just keep doing the right thing, and no matter what happens, let's stay united, and let's fight the evil, because that's what we're fighting, the evil. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and blessings on your podcast. It was such a joy to be with you all, and God bless America.
God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।